So I'm making this video really to illustrate my point that I've been making throughout my channel, and that's a university degree is completely useless. So, anyways, I've been saying that for a very long time, and I didn't know that until after I graduated, as I said in my other videos, that somehow, you know, people have been telling you, you gotta get the bachelor degree, you gotta get the master degree, you gotta get the PhD, and you're sitting around thinking, why? I mean, the entire point of getting a degree is to get a good job, right? Supposedly a job where it's pretty much respectable, right? But nowadays, it's not like that. You just get it for the sake of getting it. And not only that, half the degrees that they had nowadays what didn't even exist when the idea of hey, getting a master degree or a bachelor degree or a PhD was important. It's like back then, right? When you get these degrees, you become a doctor or something like that, a lawyer, like those type of professions, right? Important professions. And even today, it's the same thing. Basically, what happens if you get all these other type of degrees in arts, in business, you're not guaranteed a job. On top of that, you're not guaranteed a good job. Absolutely not. And most of the times, you don't even have a good job. And some of them, right, if you can climb the corporate ladder, you probably can only climb that corporate ladder, right? You're not highly sought after. You're just a normal employee. You could have rise to that position just working there from high school, right? Like from the bank. I mean, a few years ago, this girl, which I thought she was older than me. Apparently, it turned out she's 1 year younger than me. Um, I was like, "Oh, you work in the bank," and then she's like, "Anybody can work in the bank. You get into a bank in high school." I'm like, "Really? Really? I thought you like I didn't really understand how it worked, right?" And of course, she was upset because she could see my information. I couldn't see her information, so obviously she knows how old I am, but I don't know how old she is. But maybe because I just look young. But anyway, so let's go to this post here. So this guy that sells roast pork, right? It's really incredible. This is his job. Like in the Asian culture, you're chopping pork chops. What else? I guess chicken wings and things like that. You sell those things, right, at a restaurant, and they have the pork here. That's basically what you do, right? And you think that, hey, this guy basically had no life, right? He's just an immigrant that basically wasn't educated, and then he needed to go chop pork. That's essentially what you think, right? That's what everybody would think. And it turns out that this guy, as you can see here, he has a master degree from the UK. Believe it or not, we're not even talking about a third world country. Somebody might be saying, oh, that's like unknown university in some unknown country or something. But this guy was in the United Kingdom, possibly England. I don't know where, but he holds a master degree from like a UK university, and you gotta be sitting here thinking this guy went abroad, right, to study, right, in this university, and he passed and he graduated, and he has all like he has a bachelor degree, and now he has a master degree, and basically he is chopping pork chops. I mean, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying that in the Western society or in the Eastern society or West, whatever you want to say, when you think about the degree, it's some sort of high importance, right? I mean, it's not. Basically, what do you do in the university? I mean, it might be very enjoyable to a lot of young people, but here's the problem, and here's the biggest problem: time, right? I mean, the more time you spend in school, the worse it will be, right? Because you're aging, and the more time you spend in school, right, that means you're not getting those time back, right? When you're 25, it's not like when you were 20, okay? When you're 30, it's not like when you were 25. And when you're 35, it's not like when you were 30. I mean, you might think it, but your time is going lesser and lesser and lesser, and you're getting older and older and older. So, if you're confused when you're 20, you're going to be like, and then you waste your time in school. So now by the time you graduate, you're probably 26, right? And then you're still confused. And then you go to another school, and then you're 30, and then you're still confused about what you want to do. And then, onwards, you're confused, right, in your 35s. And let's say you go get a job when you're 35, right? So you get a good job when you're 35, and you realize this is not what you want to do. And then you finally find out what you want to do. But by that time, the housing price has gone up. Rent prices have gone up. Not only that, your parents are dying. Now you got to take care of your parents. And, you're getting older, and you might want to get into a relationship. You might want to get into marriage. And it's all hellhole from there if you make the wrong decision when you're 20. And a lot of people are doing that. And I think they're doing that because all of these schools, right, they pay the advertiser a lot of money to advertise. And, the society's pushing you to get these degrees. And who's paying for it? Of course, the government's paying for it. You got to be wondering, well, first of all, if these degrees are so good, right, why does the society, and you hear it all the time, there's not enough skilled workers. We got to bring in immigrants for the skilled workers. So you're telling people to get these degrees, which are useless, and then you ship in skilled workers, and where are these other, people going to go, right? They're pretty much going to become homeless, living on the street, living off the government, and that's not where you want to be. A lot of people don't want to be like that. My friends are like that, right? Right now they're living off their parents, but, once they head into their 40s and 50s, I guess they're going to be living off of the government because they never worked a day in their life. And not only that, right, their parents are going to die by that time, right? Their parents are going to be like, 90. And that's if they live to 90. So anyways, these degrees are completely worthless. And it's like, sure, some of them are good, right? Like the doctors, lawyers, and those important professions. I've always said that. But if you're going to hold a master's degree in social media, in art history, or somewhere in English, right? Something like that, which is subjective, right? Because think about it this way. Your English could suck, right? You could be like, the worst person to teach English. But if you go to some country that don't know English, you can be the best, right? So it's really subjective. It's not like being a doctor, right? So anyways, this guy holds a master's degree from a UK university, and he's a roasted pork seller now. And it shocked everyone on a Facebook page as he holds the master's degree from Northumberland University. I'm not sure if I say that if I said that correctly, right? I'm horrible at names. So anyways, in Newcastle, right? And he's from Malaysia. And he decided to go study overseas 7 years ago, which means that he was done studying 7 years ago, and he came back and he's roasting pork and selling it. You mean, if these degrees are so useful, right, then you would think he is like some sort of high-end CEO or something. So what's the point of getting a degree? There is no point, because the only point of getting a degree is to work and slave yourself away to pay the university for a sort of gloating right? To stoke your ego or something. And if you really want to do that, go to university. I mean, that's why I went, okay? I didn't go because I liked it. I went because I needed to stoke my ego, right? And my parents' ego. So anyways, that's why I went. But after going, I realized, right, I wasted the majority of my life going to university. And all these people that think they're some sort of upper class people suddenly realize after graduation, the best they could do is a manager. I mean, anyone could be a manager nowadays. You just need somebody to put you in that position, right? But if you really wanted to do something with your life, then going to school is not the way to do it. And, that's the way to go poor, because most people that do this are still living off their parents. And if you're lucky enough to have parents, right? Unlike me, which I don't have parents, which means I need to make the right decisions. And I felt like I made the 4 years I was in university, and I only took 4 years, unlike some people which have taken over 4 years. Some of them went to school for 10 years, right? And they're still in school, and they're living off their parents because they can't even get a job. And even that, right? Even if they did get a job, they wouldn't be able to keep the job. And even if they kept the job, it wouldn't be a good paying job. So what's the point of going to 4 years of university? Actually, like I was saying, I passed in 4 years, right? Because I was smart. I wasn't dumb like some people. Because some people are like, oh, I didn't get a 90, I'm dropping out. I'm like, dude, I just need a 50. Let me pass. Give me a 50, right? So I have to pick the right teachers and everything. But that's all I wanted, right? And, after graduation, obviously, for me, personally speaking, I have a house already. I have 2 houses. And, I can take care of my parents. But a lot of them, right, they can't take care of their parents, which means supplying a house for them. They don't even have a house. And even if they had that house, that house is shared 50-50, right? Because they couldn't pay for the entire thing. Well, I pay for my entire house, right? And my mortgage is very minimal. That's all I got to say. I mean, it's there, but, mortgage is something you need. But if you're going to take out $1 million mortgage, obviously, that isn't very good. I mean, let's say I took out $500,000 mortgage. Sure, it's still a lot, but it's still better than the people that are taking out $1 million or $2 million mortgages. And I actually did it that way because I didn't want to spend my life slaving myself away to pay the mortgage. Because, like I was saying, your time is limited. Your youth is limited. I mean, your skin gets wrinkly at 30. And depending on your ethnicity, right? I mean, Asian generally starts aging around 40s. So, depending on your ethnicity, right? You might age faster, and you need to make that decision quicker, and you need to make the correct decision because as you age, people will look at you, right? That's the thing. I mean, most of the times as you age, what happens is it's like actress, right? Most female actress, their prime is around their teens, right? Their 20s, and then once they head into the 30s, it's like, mediocre, right? And then once they head into their 40s, you don't even see them make videos anymore, even or like movies anymore. And after that, right, they're totally forgotten. Most of the times, it's like that. That's just how it works in society, right? Even for men, it's very similar. I mean, one of the guys that I remember is that what do you call it? I don't remember his name. The guy that played I think it was like a relic sort of movie. It was like I think it was like The Mummy Returns or something. But anyways, I don't remember him. He was really super fit, right? And then afterwards, he just got really fat. But now the thing is, on top of that, it's not only because he got fat, it's because his mentality changed. So, your mentality when you're 20s is different from when it's 30s, and then it's different in your 40s, right? I mean, you were motivated in your 20s, and then afterwards in your 30s, you're like, I'm gonna chillax. In your 40s, you're like, yeah, screw this, whatever. I'm just gonna wait to die. And then in your 50s, like, I'm just waiting for retirement. And then in your 60, you're like, yeah, I'm retired. So what the hell am I gonna do? But anyway, so life is like that. You gotta make the right decision. And this guy holding a master's degree, right, just says something. And if you watch Peter Schiff's video where the guy went down to some street in the U.S., right, everybody had a college degree. And they were working in this strip joint or this, I don't know, this bar or the street, right, where it's like filled with these people that you consider low class by society's standard, right? So, anyways, he went down to that street. Everybody had a degree. And yet they're still working at a bar. They're driving trucks. Everybody had a degree. So what the hell? Why is a degree so important? It's not. It's just that there's a lot of media. There's a lot of government-supported things. Schools, they're trying to brainwash you and keep you as a slave. And that's what it's about. Because one of the things I learned is the rat race. And that's what it is, because you're wasting all these times. When you do go to university, how much are you boring out? Right? How much are you boring? You're borrowing like 10,000 per year, and you have to count supplies and everything. It's very ridiculous, and it is not worth your time. I mean, that's just the truth. Anybody else telling you other things, obviously, is not very honest. But there is good thing about going to university. I mean, you get to meet new people. I guess you get to stay in school longer. You don't really have to contribute to the society. But what the bad thing is, you just wasted like 4 to 7 years or 10 years of your life. And a lot of my friends are doing that. I don't want to see that happen to other people because nobody's talking about it. And even if they talk about it, I think they're getting censored, right? But anyways, like if you go into an important subject, right? Like let's say programming, engineering, architect, uh, doctor, lawyers, those are very important courses. So I encourage it. But if you're going into art history, forget it. I mean, what like half the teachers there, or some liberal courses, half the teachers there probably couldn't get a job outside of that profession, so they are teachers there. But anyways, I just wanted to make this video because I found it interesting and pretty much proves what I'm saying about a degree. And this thing happened after 2008. I want to put that out there. So after 2008, the degrees are completely useless. Okay? I mean, before 2008, it was still there, but after 2008, the financial crisis, right? Most degrees, as time goes on, as I see it, is going to get more and more useless. Soon, a master's not enough. You're going to need a PhD, and then they're going to come out with a new degree. I guarantee you. And when that comes out, I'll make a video. It's going to be like a combination of a master's degree and a PhD degree. It's an upper class degree because everybody's getting a master's degree nowadays. Everybody owes debt. And, half of them might be sitting around waiting for their parents to die to inherit the house because they couldn't get a good enough job to justify for the master's degree. Imagine you go to especially in the West, right? Imagine you go to university to get a master's degree and you're chopping pork chops in an English-speaking country. That doesn't sound good, and most people don't do it. But in Asia, he's okay with it.